Hello, welcome to another film review with me, Layla. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing a film that I recently went and saw, and that was Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer. This was released in July 2023, and so far it's definitely been one of the top movies of the year. I've been to see it once, and I'm going to share with you what I thought about the film and leave you with my overall review at the end for you to decide for yourselves what you think about this film. Chances are you've already either heard of the film or you might have seen clips of it. You might have even seen the film itself, in which case I'd love to hear your comments about my review, what you thought. So the story Oppenheimer is about basically the story of this character, J. Robert Oppenheimer. We know him as the person who created the atomic bomb. This was around the Second World War period, and the director of this film is Christopher Nolan. Now, if you're a film buff and you're a huge film fan like me, you will know that Christopher Nolan is one of the top directors of our time. He's created other masterpieces like The Dark Knight, Interstellar, lots and lots of great films. So even before I went to see the film, just knowing that Christopher Nolan had directed it, I knew I was going to be in for a treat. Little did I know I was going to enjoy it so much. Okay. So Christopher Nolan has very cleverly told us the story of Oppenheimer, and he's created a very logical approach. We get to know the story, we go through the story, and the story is in three different chunks, basically. First, we get to know who Oppenheimer is. We get to know the story of what he was about before the atomic bomb, what he did for a living. He was a scientist. He was very into physics and all that kind of thing. Then we gradually have the build-up to the atomic bomb itself, which was designed and created in Los Alamos in California. And then we have the section in the third part of the film, which is about what happened once the atomic bomb was created and it was tested, obviously, successfully. So there is a clear logic to the story. Some films you go and see and we're constantly jumping from one timeline to another. So you might see something in present day and then we jump back 10 years ago, and then we jump forward another 5 years and jump back, and you find that you keep jumping all around the place. This didn't happen in this film, which I was very happy, because when you keep jumping around to different timelines in a film, that can be a little bit confusing. So this is the story of this fantastic, great scientist who created the atomic bomb. And we get to know basically what was the thought process behind creating this bomb. Why did he want to create it, etc. So that's the plot. That's the overall story of the film. What I liked about the film were quite a few things. The first one is that I loved the fact that the film was shot on location. It wasn't just shot in a studio somewhere. It was on location. A great part of it was in Los Alamos, which is in California, in other locations as well, in Santa Fe and other places as well. But it gives you a true flavor, a true experience, a reality aspect of it when you know that it's been shot on location. I was really impressed to hear that there is no CGI, there are no special effects, as it were, in this film. What you see is the real deal. The cinematography is amazing. We get to really go deep into the psychology, into the mindset, into the way of thinking of Oppenheimer, how he visualizes the finished product of the bomb, and his thought processes as he's creating this bomb. We constantly see the way he sees the progress, which is fantastic and it's amazing. So we're taken through his mindset. There is a fantastic cast in this film. We've got Oscar winners. We've got really, really good actors. Obviously, the lead actor is Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy, you might know him from one of the Batman films where he plays the Scarecrow. You may also know him from Peaky Blinders, and obviously he's been in lots of other films. In this film, he is absolutely spot on with the character, with the acting, with everything. He definitely looks like the real Oppenheimer, and not once in the film can you see anything about the Scarecrow from Batman. You can't see Cillian Murphy as the character in Peaky Blinders. All you see is Oppenheimer, and to me that is a fantastic work and work of art of this actor that really makes his character believable. So you forget that you're looking at Cillian Murphy and you truly believe that you're looking at the real J. Robert Oppenheimer, which is absolutely amazing. I would be very surprised if he was not awarded at least a nomination for an Oscar for his performance in this film. Other A-listers, we've got Matt Damon, we've got Robert Downey Jr., Emily Blunt. We've got lots and lots of other top actors. You will see other fantastic actors who were prepared to be in the film for just 1 or 2 minutes even. And that gives you an idea of how much A-listers, top actors, want to be in a Christopher Nolan film. Even if it's just 2 minutes on camera, they're prepared to be in his film. And that shows us, you know, the magnitude of these films. I really liked Matt Damon's character. He plays this no-nonsense general in the film. He also acts really well in this film. Facts are facts, no nonsense. And he is, I think, a true depiction of what you would expect an American general to be, especially in those days anyway. The things I didn't like, there's definitely one thing I wasn't too sure about in the film, and I didn't see the need for it. There's just one clip. And I think this is one of the reasons why the film is rated R. There's just one clip where towards the beginning of the film you see Oppenheimer absolutely naked. You don't see him naked. Obviously he's sitting in a specific position where we don't see what we don't want to see, but you can tell he's naked, and opposite to him is his I believe his girlfriend, who is also sitting naked, and they're having a conversation in the what seems to be the living room maybe, and I'm not sure how this fit into the film. I'm not sure why there was this emphasis that these two characters have to be sitting absolutely naked. I don't know if this was a fact or if it was just one of those Hollywood little touches that they wanted to include. So this to me felt a little bit out of place. But in all honesty, that's the only criticism I can think of for the film. It's a 3-hour-long film. And in 3 hours, if that's the only negative I can think of, then this film has done really, really well. It's a film that's quite dialogue heavy. Obviously, there's a lot of dialogue going on, so you do need to pay attention. You do need to listen carefully from the get-go. There's a little bit of politics, a little bit about science, obviously, quite a bit about physics. You don't need to have you don't need to have a PhD to understand the film, because these kind of sciences just go over my head completely. But it is something that it is a film that you need to be listening. You need to pay attention to what's going on, definitely. They have made it so the average Joe can understand, but it's not something that you can leave the theatre to go and get a drink or have a chat and then come back, because you will have missed quite a bit. That's one thing. Another thing some people might not like, but I quite enjoyed, was that you do get black and white segments in the film as well. There are some parts of the film that are purposely black and white, they're not in color. And I think what Christopher Nolan is trying to do here is he's trying to create a film that is drama, obviously, and it's based on reality, based on fact, but also bordering on documentary. So he's trying to, I think, create as much of a factual piece of work as possible. That's one of my guesses as to why he's got a few black and white segments in the film as well. To me, it just adds more flavor to the film, and I really enjoyed it, obviously. So overall, what did I think of this 3-hour-long film? I absolutely enjoyed it. I've only seen it once so far. I will most definitely be seeing it again twice, if not a third time. There was a lot that was said. There's a lot of dialogue. A lot happens. You get dates and locations and names, and all of that is thrown at you. It's definitely something you need to sit and listen to carefully. But because there was so much information, I personally find I would need to go see it a second, maybe even third time, just to get the full story of what's going on. And I think that's one of the beauties of having a film where you need to go see it again, just to understand a little bit more of what's going on. It was definitely educational for me. Because I wasn't aware of the backstory, I wasn't aware of his personal life, I wasn't aware of what happened after he'd created the bomb. Because in the third part of the film, we see that he is questioned by the FBI and by lots of politicians, and he is questioned a lot. At the end of the day, he's created an atomic bomb which is responsible for killing lots and lots of people. And there is this question that people are asking, or should I say, was Oppenheimer sane? Could we have classed him as somebody who was all there? Why would somebody want to create this kind of a weapon that just wipes out generations, if you like, of people? So a lot of that is going on. One part that I really enjoyed which is true, is the part where right at the end, Cillian Murphy talks to the president, the sitting president at the time, who's President Truman. And I think he's going through some kind of guilty feelings. He's feeling a bit guilty, he's feeling quite guilty about the fact that he's created this bomb, and he tells the president that I feel like I've got blood on my hands, because he's responsible obviously for killing so many people during the war and after that as well. And that's, I think, when he starts to understand what a monster he's created. Up until that point, up until the point of creating the bomb, all he can see, I think, is finishing the project, getting the bomb created, completing it before Russia, competing with other countries as well. That's one thing he's got his mind set on. But once it's done, and once this beast is put to work, and he can see the after effect of this bomb, I truly believe that he starts to realize, oh my God, what have I created? What have I done to humanity? And that's how we see this. Some people call him a god. How we see this god, this creator of this beast, really understanding the magnitude of his actions. And I think this is a lovely lesson for a lot of us studying history, that sometimes we might do something, we might say something, of course not on the same scale as creating a bomb, but what we do and what we say can have catastrophic consequences. And we just need to be mindful and aware of the consequences of what we do in our lives, and how what we do and say might impact others. Hopefully for good, but obviously we need to be mindful that we could literally be ruining lives, and that, I think, is part of the story that's going on here. Some people might see Oppenheimer as the hero. Some people might see him as the villain, as a murderer, if you like. So that's obviously for you to judge how you would see this character. I absolutely loved it, loved every second of it. There were some parts in the film where you can't clearly make out the conversation. The music is too loud, or the audio, the sounding of what's going on, the sound is too loud. But I think that's part of reality, because when you go to an event, when you go to a party, when you go to a conference or anything, you don't always hear what everybody is saying, do you? Because that is part of a normal kind of life, in that you don't always hear what everybody says, because it gets drowned in the noise or the music. And I think that's another aspect of the film that I found quite enjoying, more documentary-like rather than a film. So I'm definitely going to be going on the website to book my ticket again to go see it for a second time. I definitely enjoyed it. I'd love to hear your comments on what you think of this review. And if you've been to see the film, I'd love to hear what you thought about the film as well. Thank you very much for watching this review, and I will be back again soon with yet the review of another film. Take care.